Hi, this is Craig. Welcome to episode 6 of Cruising Off Duty. In this episode, I'm going to take you along with me as I pack up my car, load up my boat, and sail up the Ottawa River by myself. In this episode, we'll have some high winds and high speeds. We'll also have quite a few problems that I'll have to deal with while being alone. That's why I'm going to name this episode Sailing Alone. How hard is it? And what do you do when things go wrong?
This is August 5th, it's a Friday. I'm off work and Janice isn't. So the plan of attack here is I'm going to go to the boat, load it up with all the gear for the long weekend. Well, for the weekend for her and the long weekend for me. I'm going to sail to Pinney's, and then she's going to get her son to drop her off at Pinney's, and I'm going to pick her up in the dock, and that way we're 3/4 of the way to our final destination, which is Baskins Beach. This weekend is the big Baskins Beach weekend party for the Nepean Sailing Club. So there's going to be a lot of boats there, and it's going to be a good time, a lot of activities planned. So that's one of the things with this channel is I want to stress the enjoyment, the social interaction, and the healthy lifestyle that sailing accommodates. And here's one of the social outings that I talked about that makes having a cruising sailboat a real benefit. You know, things like this, sponsored get-togethers that the club has put on. They're going to bring down, they have trucks with trailers that bring down all the big barbecues and the picnic tables and the things that we're going to need to make it a proper party. They've even in the past brought massive awnings. If it's going to rain, they'll bring these awnings and hang them from the trees above us so that we can stay out of the rain. Now, it's not supposed to rain Saturday and Sunday, which is the actual party. It is supposed to rain later today on Friday, so that's why I want to get to the boat. And right now it's 11:20 in the morning. I want to get to the boat, get it loaded up with all this gear, and then I'll be on my way. So I'm probably halfway to the boat now. So like I say, it's very beneficial to have a club close to your house. Just my opinion is, you may have not the best water or not the biggest water. We're only on 27 Mile, in essence, lake. But if you can get to the boat easy, you're going to go a lot more often. You're going to use it a lot more often. If your boat's a long way away, I think anything under an hour is good, but 2 hours each way is just too long for me. And then you'll come up with excuses why you don't want to go. Oh, we only have a day and a half, or oh, the weather's not perfect, and next thing you know, the boat just sits there and doesn't get used. So, you know, I'm a proponent of being close to your boat. Am I getting a little bit bored with going to the same anchorages over and over again? Maybe a little bit, but it seems like every time I go, I meet new people, and we have new fun that really isn't about where you're anchored. It's about who you meet when you're there and what you do when you're there. So I'm not bored. All right, so this is the Nepean Sailing Club, which you've probably seen in other episodes. My boat's down there, just past that red boat. This is the ramp I take down. That's my stuff on the ramp, in case you're wondering. Just wanted to show you. Of course, now it's dying. You can probably hear the wind and all the rigging bouncing off the mast. That Canadian flag there, we need to go that direction. So that's going to be a beam reach for me, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be quick. And of course, just as I go to record it, the wind dies down, but a second ago it was just howling. So it's going to be a fast sail. Here's off duty, and hopefully you can hear me okay over the wind. And this is all the gear I just unloaded from the car for a weekend. Can you believe it? I bring all my electronics and cameras and stuff home, so I don't leave them on the boat. I bring all that every time I come, and then this is the fresh food and other things. So you can really hear the wind howling now. Really hear the wind. Luckily, this is going to be a great angle of wind for sailing to Pinney's, but whoa, I'm going to be on a sleigh ride. It's going to be going fast because this is howling. You can see the boats swinging. I think it's got to be at least 20 knots, 25 knots of wind right now, and that's here in a protected harbor. Only a imagine there's going to be white caps out there. So this should be fun. I'll take you along with me. I'm just going to mention again, the one good thing that off-duty has, well, it's got more than one good thing, but the best thing that off-duty has is this 260 watts of solar, which always keeps my batteries charged. God, I wish I had a wind generator in this wind though. And that means that this is always cold. Look at that, isn't that sweet? All these drinks are all nice and chilly. A little bit of meat that I never cooked last time I was here, still here. Freezer full, or will be full in a second, of all the new meat I brought. And yeah, we're good to go. I love that, I love that. There's the temperature of the fridge. That's in Celsius. 31 degrees right now, Celsius. Sorry, Americans, I don't know the exact Fahrenheit for that, but there's my one and only electronic item I left behind, my tripod. Oh, it is hot down here. I gotta open up some windows. Get that open. Oh, there's a breeze. Get that open. Oh, that helps a lot. Yeah. This is the worst part of getting the boat ready. It's loading all the stuff in and putting it all away in the heat. Boat's been locked up for a while, and therefore it's like a sauna in here. Open up some windows to get it a little better, but when it's 31 degrees outside, really, how cool can it possibly get in here? So I'm gonna let you go so I can get the stuff packed as quickly as possible. Okay, engine started. Still windy as hell out here. One thing I'm going to do this weekend is we're going to take my kayak, which you can see I haven't taken out in a long time. Covered in mud and dirt, and mostly the mud's from my anchor hangs right on the top of it, so any mud that's left on there falls in my kayak. It's Hobie, one of those foot pedal kayaks, and I haven't used it much this year, and I feel a little bad about that, so I'm going to drag it behind the boat along with my dinghy. So let's get this going. Next step is get the dinghy. It's down the dock. My boat's back there. My dinghy's right here. Let's hope it hasn't rained a lot. Yay, it hasn't rained. Never remember if we've had a bunch of rain. If we have, it's full of water. That adds to the job. Gotta then bail it out, but it's looking pretty good. You can see I have solar here too. An electric trolling motor, which I really can't use this close in where I tied this thing up because there's just so much weeds. So we gotta go old school. I gotta row it around at least to the other side before I turn on the motor. So that's my next chore. Something I just gotta show you. Check all these people out on the shore. They're not out sunbathing or doing anything else other than playing Pokemon Go. At one point there was hundreds of people here until they started giving out parking tickets for the park. Because of all these people just parking on grass, parking everywhere just to play Pokemon Go. Craziness. Here we go. Get a little bit more perspective of the boats. A little less me, a little more boats.
This scene makes me laugh. Look at the look on my face. And I think if I just keep twisting it, it will eventually work.
It's with this electric today.
Didn't Einstein say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and
expecting
expecting a different result?
So much for that idea. It's really strange.
The wind noise here is just getting to be too much, so I'm just going to voice over what I say. I say, here's something I've done hundreds of times, which is cast off by myself. Oh, and don't worry, once I get sailing, I realize the wind is just way too strong outside the harbor, and I switch to my other camera, which has a shotgun microphone with a dead cat furry cover over it, which stops wind noise. Something new is about to go wrong, but I'm going to go back over the things that have already gone wrong today. Something I didn't film is when I first got to my boat and tried to start it, it wouldn't start. It seems that I have a defective start battery, but I was able to start it with my house batteries, so it all worked out. Then, as you just saw, my electric trolling motor stopped working for unknown reasons at the time. One thing I want to point out, while it's plainly in view, is check out this fender on the front port side of my boat. It's there now, but it won't be later, and this footage shows where I lost it approximately. And it was due to a screw-up that's about to happen. Even though there's a stiff cross breeze, I have no problem pulling out of my slip and leaving the harbor. I've done this dozens of times by myself. But some stuff is about to happen right after I get into the channel.
Okay, that has never happened before. My kayak flipped over. Not a good thing.
Alright, let me tell you what's going on here and what's going through my head. Just a little earlier than this, I noticed that the kayak was pointing left right into the side of the dinghy. And I looked away for a second and slowed the boat down, and by the time I turned around, the kayak was upside down. So I can only assume that the kayak rode underneath the dinghy and the dinghy flipped it over by riding on top of it. So what I did here was I flipped it back over and I've let it back out to see what happens. But I'm now realizing, due to the strong cross breeze, the kayak always wants to point to its left, so it keeps wanting to point into the side of the dinghy. Right about this time too, I'm barely moving. I've got the autopilot on and the engine is just barely in gear to keep me moving forward so the boat stays on a course. I'm in a very thin channel with red and green markers. And somewhere around here, I notice I'm getting closer and closer to a school of kids that are being taught how to sail right in the middle of the channel. So at this point, I've let the kayak out as many times as I can to try and figure out a way for it to go straight, but it's just not happening. So at this point, I sort of realize, A, that the sailing school is getting closer and closer, but that I have a limited amount of time in order to pull the kayak up onto the boat instead of towing it. So this is where I'm deciding, how do I get this thing on my boat? And I realize I can't put it along the side of the boat. It's just too far down for me to reach down and pull this 85-pound kayak up onto my boat. So I decide the only way to do it is to step down on the swim platform and pull it over the back of the boat, over top of the steering wheel, through the bimini bars. It was just a crazy idea, but I didn't have any other choice. And as I told you, I'm getting closer and closer to the sailing school. I still can't figure out why they would teach kids how to sail in the middle of a channel where boats are coming in and out of harbors. But that's what happened. So as you see, I'm lifting this 85-pound kayak with my one arm while I'm holding myself with my other arm so I don't fall in the water. And the wind noise is drowning it out, but I am starting to huff and puff. And it's not over yet. I think I might as well just fast forward at this point because this takes me a long time to get on the boat. Mostly due to the fact that the kayak is so long that it's either hitting the bimini on the top or hitting the wheel or hitting one of the bimini bars, and it just doesn't seem like there's any way this is going to fit through the back of the boat. So as you can see, I'm struggling here. I've got half the kayak on, half still hanging off the back of the boat, and I'm getting ever closer and closer to the sailing school. I keep thinking they're going to tell the kids to get out of the channel, but I have no luck. They just keep sailing back and forth in front of my oncoming boat. So right about now, I at least have the kayak in a position that it's not going to fall off the boat. It's sort of half situated on one of the seats and half sticking out the side of the boat, but inside the lifeline. So I figure at least now I can control my boat and don't run over one of these kids in their little dinghies. At this stage, I'm really huffing and puffing. And see that little boat behind me? That's one of the sailing school kids I was trying to avoid running over. And there's more in front of me. Look at how it is now. That's what I had to do for now, since these kids are doing sailing school right in the middle of the freaking channel. So I can avoid them while trying to put this up. Okay, now that I'm out of the skinny little channel that comes out of our harbor, I have a little bit more time to properly put the kayak along the side of the boat. But check out my fender. It's still there. But because of all of this fiasco with the kayaks, I've forgotten to take my fenders up, which is something I always do once I get the autopilot started and I'm going down the channel. But I've completely forgotten about that. So the fenders are just slapping along in the water, and I completely forget it even when I start sailing. Oh yeah, there's one more screw up that I forgot to mention that happened in the channel, and it also did not get caught on camera. But I'm about to explain what happened in a second.
You can hear me much over the wind. That was not a usual start. Dinghy back there went normal, although I left and didn't film this, one mistake at a time, but remember when I unlocked the dinghy with the keys? Those are the keys to the ignition. Now the engine will still run without the keys in the ignition, it's just the blower doesn't blow, which means that the fumes from the engine are still in the boat. So it's obviously a good idea to have the blower going as much as possible. So engine's running, don't think anything of it. Jump in the boat, tie the kayak in the dinghy, get going and going down the channel, and realize that my blower is not on. Then I realized I left the key on the seat in the dinghy, which I'm already towing behind me. So in all this heavy wind, I still had to put it in neutral, pull in the dinghy, jump in the dinghy while my boat was unattended, get my keys, get back on the boat. No sooner get the blower going and everything's working fine, then this guy decides he's got to flip upside down, which I've never had happen before. And this cheap floaty rope, don't ever buy this, is actually just foam inside of a rope sleeve. So when there's a lot of tension on it, the foam breaks, and then the sleeve gets really thin where there's no foam. And I just didn't trust it wasn't going to break, and I looked back and my kayak's gone. So as you probably saw, I had to physically drag that bad boy over the back of my boat, because needless to say, it wouldn't have been very easy for me to bring it alongside and try and lift it over the lifelines. So there's not a lot of space in here though between the steering wheel here and this bar. It was a tight fit. So coming up here was hitting the bimini, going to the right was hitting the bars, going to left, needless to say, couldn't go past the wheel. So it was trying to put a square peg and a heavy square peg at that. I think weighs 80 pounds or something. It's one of those kayaks you paddle with your feet, so it's quite dense. Anyways, it's securely on board now. All's good. Okay, didn't even have a chance to have my beverage when I realized I screwed something else up today. This has just not been a good day. I don't know if it's because I got this brand new G7X camera and I wanted to vlog with it, but probably it was the kayak flipping upside down that threw me off. Usually when I get in the channel, first thing I do is walk around and put all the fenders up. But of course I'm sailing along, I just got splashed. I'm sailing along and it's very windy, so my mind was on other things. Some guy sailed by me and yelled over as he waved. I thought he was just saying, hey, have a good weekend, or who knows what. He was probably saying, your fenders are down. That's right. I sailed like a third of the way to Elmer Island with my fenders down. And on top of that, not only looking a little bit like a novice doing that, I used to have 3 fenders. And I now only have 2 fenders. And I only noticed it when I went down to get a drink. And I could see through one of my port lights from my windows, the fender bouncing around on top of the water. So, hello. Yeah, that's a kind of a newbie move to sail with the fenders down. So, let's hope that's the last screw up today. Please, please. I don't want to break any more things or lose any more fenders.
At this point, things have calmed down enough that I'm able to switch from my G7X to my GH4 with the shotgun microphone. Thank God, because I'm so sick of wind noise.
Hopefully all my little problems this morning with today have ended. Fingers crossed, nothing breaks. Especially when I'm alone. A little less stressful when you got somebody else to take the wheel while you fix things. If the autopilot went out while I needed to fix something, I'd be kind of screwed. Ottawa River, we don't have a lot of room for navigating, so if you go horribly off course, you don't have a lot of room for error before you're going to hit shore. And here comes the wind. And now we're doing 6.6 knots. 6.7 knots. 6.8 knots. 7 knots. Just to Genoa. 7.1. 7.2. We're going to make 7.3. And we're really healing. And we're really healing. I'm going to bear away 10 more degrees. Because now the wind is starting to force my nose across. 7.4. 7.6. know. Well, now the wind dies and the boat bears away by itself. So I've got to take a little time to come back around. Yeah. Anybody who's never sailed before, that's pretty good speed for a boat like this. 7.6 for a 35-foot monohull. It's fast. Especially since I only have one sail up. Now, even now that it feels calm, we're still going 6 knots, so that's still pretty damn good. And I haven't lost my dinghy. He's still, thank God he's a V-hull. If it wasn't a V-hull, there'd be a lot of resistance pulling that thing at 7.6. Yeah, so I just thought of that. Yeah, doing 7.6 pulling a dinghy. It's, and all my water tanks are full. So this is about as inefficient of a sailing plan as you can get, dragging something with all your tanks full. Past Elmer Island. Okay, that was a wild ride. Just took the sail down. Now we're at Penny, so we're almost there. Now we just need to anchor. All right, we are anchored here at Penny's Point. After that struggle, wind was good, but everything before we started, or as we started, was a pain in the butt. After that's all over, it's time for a beverage. Now that I'm here anchored, I can just sit back and relax and wait for Janice to show up somewhere around 5:36. So nothing better on a 31 degrees Celsius day than just a cold beverage like this strawberry vodka with watermelon lemon mix. Actually, now that I say that, guys at work are going to say I have to give back my man card. Okay, let's do that over. This is red beer. Okay, Janice showed up finally at what? Oh, you were about 5:30-ish. 5:30-ish, not too late, no. And we got rain over here coming our way probably, but we have nice over there. So let's hope that's coming. Not the rain, but I don't think that's likely. More people were supposed to be here, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all chickened out.
The rain scared them away. Okay, so hopefully more people show up. Otherwise, we'll see them tomorrow at Baskin's Beach.
Well, that's the end of this episode of Cruising Off Duty. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. And if you did, on YouTube, please click like. And if you'd like to see more videos from Cruising Off Duty, please subscribe. And just as a point of clarification, if you're watching this from a link on Facebook, or if you're watching this from the Cruising Off Duty website, you're only getting to YouTube through a link. You need to sign into YouTube in order to subscribe. Thanks a lot. Join us in the next episode when Janice and I continue on our travels towards the Baskin's Beach party weekend. We have good times with good friends, and the weather was pretty good other than the high winds. The high winds messed with my ability to do drone video on the day of the party, but I got some the next day. So tune in to the next episode for that. Until then, thanks for watching.